What would you do if you didn't study before an exam? Bart's approach is nothing short of textbook.
What is it, Bart?
Nothing. Must take test.
He then went to the school nurse's office and lied about having a stomachache. The school nurse pulled out a book to check the symptoms against it and concluded that Bart had a stomach ulcer, a condition that could cause temporary blindness. But Lisa saw right through Bart's feigned illness and told him to take the chance to study hard. Unexpectedly, Bart simply called Millhouse and asked for the answers to the history test. On the day of the makeup exam, Bart handed in his paper with full confidence, only to be shocked that all his answers were wrong. Bart had already failed the exam 4 times. If he failed one more time, he would have to repeat the grade. He was down to his last chance, but he didn't have nearly enough time to study. With no other choice, he could only pray to God for help.
A teacher strike, a power failure, a blizzard, anything that'll cancel school tomorrow. I know it's asking a lot, but if anyone can do it, you can. Thanking you in advance, your pal, Bart Simpson.
God answered Bart's wish. The next day, Marge woke Bart up and told him it was snowing heavily outside.
Whoa, good morning, world!
Thanks to the heavy snow, school was canceled for the day. Just as Bart was about to go out to play in the snow, Lisa stopped him.
I heard you last night, Bart. You prayed for this. Now your prayers have been answered. I'm no theologian. I don't know who or what God is exactly. All I know is he's a force more powerful than Mom and Dad put together, and you owe him big. Right.
Bart thought Lisa had a point, so he went back to his room and started studying. However, the sounds of kids playing outside in the snow kept tempting him.
Dustin, you gotta study.
So Bart ran down to the basement to block out the distractions and hit the books in earnest. But his mind was still fixated on playing in the snow. Bart tried to slap himself awake.
You wanna be helped that way? Concentrate, man.
And his whole family watched the scene unfold. The exam finally came to an end, but to his dismay, he still failed. Bart completely fell apart, overwhelmed by a sense of defeat and frustration.
Oh, now I know how George Washington felt when he surrendered Fort Necessity to the French in 1754. What?
Yet he ended up applying what he learned to real life, and his teacher decided to give him an extra point.
I passed! I got 18 points! I passed! Oh, right! I passed!
When Homer was born, he was already a giant baby so big that he could drink an entire cow's milk dry in one go. Later, during a snowball fight, when other kids threw snowballs at him, he retaliated by tearing off the entire top of a snow-capped mountain. When Homer grew up, he would help the villagers chop firewood, but the second he heard the dinner bell, he would drop his axe and bolt toward the food. Unfortunately, every step he took threatened to crush an entire house, and streams of lava-like drool dripped from his mouth along the way, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. The breakfast the villagers spent hours preparing, he could wolf it down in one bite, and even the cook, who couldn't run fast enough, got swallowed along with the food.
Can anybody hear me?
I think I found a way out. It's not pretty, but it'll do.
The villagers had long since had enough of Homer. One day, they invited him over for a drink with ill intentions. After finishing his drink, Homer fell into a deep sleep, for the villagers had secretly slipped a few magic pills into his liquor. When Homer woke up, he found himself abandoned and was overcome with loneliness. He then carved a pet statue out of stone and leaned against it to fall asleep. Somehow, this act seemed to stir the gods. The stone actually turned into a living cow. Homer was overjoyed and surprised, and the two quickly became best friends. Later, Homer met the beautiful Marge, and by chance, Marge took a liking to him too. It was love at first sight for both of them, and they ran toward each other filled with joy.
Don't worry, I won't smush you. You're cute.
Oh, thank you.
I just want to spruce up for our date.
One day, as Homer and Marge were chatting as usual, a meteor suddenly appeared in the sky. The professor announced to the villagers that the town would soon be flattened by the meteor, throwing everyone into a panic. Just then, someone thought of Homer and said that if he could stop the disaster, they would accept him back into the village. Overjoyed at the news, Homer danced with excitement and made full preparations. But before he set off, he wanted to give Marge a kiss, and at that very moment, the meteor hurtled straight toward Homer's buttocks.
Ow! Ah! Oh, boy! Ow! Oh,